Today we are making raspberry jam in a very similar way to the marmalade we made a few weeks ago. It's a simple recipe, there's no pectin, and it relies on holding a high temperature for some time. In our case today it's going to be 15 minutes. So we've got a pound of strawberries. Let's get them prepped up. So my way of deheading them is just to halve them and then pop the little heads out. The bit where it was on the stem. Just like that. Now we have them done. Now we're going to prepare them a little bit more using a blender. In goes the 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. Get the lid. Off we go. And they need a bit more power. You can of course do this by hand. You have a choice of just how chunky you want it to be. So we're going to start off over a low heat. Where's that saucepan? Yeah, we're going to start off over a very low heat and just warm it up, and as we warm it up we're going to incorporate all the sugar. I'm off looking for my favourite spatula, but I can't find it. So we'll use this one instead. Alright, we move to a middle burner. It's on low, fairly low. Let's just turn the lights off so you can see the flame. There it is. This is the second cup of sugar going in, just ordinary white granulated sugar. Now that we've got all the sugar incorporated, we're going to go off to the races. Turn the heat up and start to get some heat into this mixture. We're looking for a hard rolling boil. A little bit. So here we are. It's starting to come up to temperature. You want to be, to get the sugar to set properly with the strawberries, you're going to want to be over boiling point by a few degrees, maybe 3 to 5. See now that it's got quite a boil on it. I'm going to have to turn the heat down soon. The boiling time I recommend is in the region of 15 minutes, and it's a hard rolling boil. There you go, it's about half flame there. And at the end of 15 minutes you will actually start to feel this stuff become like jam. You can just see it on the bottom of the spatula there. So the boil time is over. Now I've turned the burner off. We're going to start letting it cool. Oh yeah, so here's a good test for the to see if you really have jam on your hands. And that's this little bowl has been in the freezer for about 5 minutes. So it's cold, and you put a spoonful of the jam on the bottom. See what it feels like, and you just drag your finger through it. And if that line stays there and the two halves don't rejoin each other, it's very likely you have a jam. And we did. So now we're just going to put the bowl in there to avoid splashing it all over the kitchen. Contain the explosion, should there be one. And this is a small batch thing, so I'm not going to bother sterilizing jars and keeping it or anything like that. This just goes in the fridge and it's consumed immediately, well, within the next week. So I got about 1.5 bowls out of that. That still looks like about 2 cups. And my casserole dish is also my homemade bread box. So we're going to have some homemade bread. Homemade bread and homemade clotted cream and homemade raspberry jam, which is a rather lovely